Welcome back to A1 Storyteller, where we share gripping tales that keep you on the edge of your seat. Today we have a powerful and heart-wrenching story of justice, revenge, and a shocking twist that will leave you speechless. It's a story about how one pregnant black woman's life was violently disrupted by a racist cop, but the true power of karma is about to unfold. This tale reveals how a loving husband takes matters into his own hands when the system fails, bringing justice in ways you could never expect. Make sure to like, comment, and share to help spread the word about this gripping story. Now, let's dive right in. Simone Davis had always believed in justice, fairness, and the idea that every individual should be treated with dignity. As a successful marketing professional and a soon-to-be mother, her life was filled with excitement and anticipation. Her husband Malik, a hard-working man with a calm demeanor, had been by her side through every challenge. Together, they were building a future for their unborn child. But all of that changed one fateful afternoon when a routine trip to the grocery store turned into a nightmare. It was a bright and sunny Tuesday morning when Simone, several months pregnant, decided to make her way to the local store to pick up a few items for dinner. Her pregnancy had been difficult at times, but she was determined to continue with her day-to-day life. As she drove through the streets of their suburban neighborhood, everything seemed calm, until she noticed a police car behind her, its sirens blaring loudly. Her heart skipped a beat. "What's this about?" she wondered, instinctively slowing her car and pulling over to the side of the road. Simone was well aware of the racial tensions in her community, and she had heard whispers of a particular officer known for his aggressive, discriminatory actions toward people of color. It wasn't long before Officer Richards, a white male officer in his mid-30s, stepped out of his squad car. His expression was stern, and there was a coldness in his eyes that Simone could sense even before he approached her vehicle. "License and registration," Officer Richards barked as he approached her window. Simone, trying to keep calm, handed over her documents. "Is there a problem, officer?" she asked, keeping her tone respectful. "You ran a red light," he responded curtly, not even bothering to make eye contact as he took the paperwork from her hand. "Step out of the vehicle," he added, without explanation. Simone's stomach churned. She had not run any red light, but she had learned long ago that arguing with a police officer, especially one like Officer Richards, would only escalate matters. The last thing she wanted was for the situation to spiral out of control. But when the officer reached into her car and yanked her out by the arm, Simone's sense of calm quickly turned to fear. She tried to explain that she was pregnant, but the officer ignored her protests. "Please, officer, I'm pregnant. I'm not in a condition to be manhandled," Simone said, her voice shaky. But her words fell on deaf ears. Officer Richards didn't seem to care about her condition or her pleas. Without warning, he delivered a swift, brutal kick to her stomach, directly where her baby was growing. The force of the blow sent Simone tumbling to the ground, her breath knocked out of her as she gasped for air. A few onlookers had gathered, some filming the entire incident with their phones, while others shouted in protest. Simone, on the cold asphalt, felt a wave of pain wash over her. The sting in her abdomen was overwhelming, and a sense of panic began to rise inside her. Was her baby okay? Would she survive this? The fear was unbearable, but the worst part was the humiliation, the brutality of it all, and the knowledge that there was a history of racial profiling in this very neighborhood. The video footage quickly went viral. Within hours, the incident spread across social media, sparking a firestorm of anger and outrage. People were furious about the officer's actions, and protests began to form, demanding justice for Simone. The hashtag Justice for Simone began trending, and the story caught the attention of local news outlets. People from all walks of life joined together to demand that Officer Richards be held accountable for his brutal and senseless actions. Meanwhile, Malik Davis, Simone's husband, was going about his day when he received a call that would change everything. A friend of his had seen the video, and Malik was horrified as he listened to the details of what had happened. He immediately dropped everything and rushed to the hospital, his heart pounding with rage and fear. When he arrived, he found Simone lying in a bed, pale and shaken but determined to stay strong for him and their unborn child. "Simone, are you okay?" "I'm scared, Malik," Simone whispered, her eyes welling with tears. "He kicked me. He kicked our baby." Malik's hands clenched into fists as he looked at his wife, his mind racing with thoughts of what he could do to make things right. His mind turned to the corrupt system that had allowed Officer Richards to remain on the force despite his violent behavior. He knew that if the legal system was left to handle the case, it would likely be swept under the rug, just as countless cases of police brutality had been before. Something had to be done, and Malik was determined to ensure that justice would be served one way or another. Malik wasted no time. He began his own investigation, reaching out to contacts within the community and doing his own research on Officer Richards. The more he dug, the more he uncovered. Richards had been involved in multiple complaints of racial profiling, excessive force, and harassment. Despite these reports, he had been allowed to continue his job with no real consequences. Malik knew that the system had failed him, just as it had failed Simone, but he refused to sit back and let this man get away with it. Determined to expose Richards' past and bring him to justice, Malik sought help from a local investigative journalist, Tanya Williams, who had spent years covering corruption within the police department. Tanya had been working on a story about police misconduct in the area for months, and she agreed to help Malik gather more evidence. Together, they began to piece together a damning case against Officer Richards. They discovered that he had been involved in illegal activities, bribery, covering up evidence, and even working with local gangs in exchange for money. Malik knew that he had to act fast. With the evidence they had gathered, they hatched a plan to confront Officer Richards. But this wasn't just about bringing the cop to justice for the assault on Simone. It was about dismantling the corruption within the police department. The plan was simple. Malik would confront Richards with the evidence, and Tanya would record the entire encounter. The goal was to expose everything to the public. The day of the confrontation arrived. Malik met Officer Richards at a local diner where they sat across from each other in a secluded booth. Richards, unaware of what Malik knew, was cocky and dismissive. But Malik had come prepared. He slid a folder across the table, filled with documents and photographs that would be Richards' downfall. "Do you know what's in this folder, Officer Richards?" Malik asked, his voice calm but filled with underlying fury. Richards glanced at the folder but didn't respond. "I know everything about you," Malik continued. "The corruption, the bribery, the illegal activities. I know what you did to my wife, and I know what you've been doing for years." Richards' face went pale as Malik spoke, his confidence evaporating. The cop tried to play it off, but the evidence was irrefutable. Malik had him cornered, and now it was time to take him down. Malik's confrontation with Officer Richards was just the beginning of a series of events that would change the course of the case. The video footage of the confrontation went viral, and the public outrage reached new heights. The police department was forced to act, launching a full investigation into Richards and his ties to organized crime. Soon, other officers who had turned a blind eye to Richards' actions found themselves under scrutiny as well. And just like that, justice was served. Officer Richards was arrested, and the evidence Malik had gathered led to a massive shakeup in the local police department. The corrupt system that had allowed officers like Richards to flourish was finally being exposed. But Malik and Simone's victory was more than just about one officer. It was about standing up for what's right, no matter the odds. Their story became a beacon of hope, a reminder that justice may be delayed, but it is never truly denied. Thank you for watching this incredible tale on A One Storyteller. If you were moved by this story, make sure to like, comment, and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep fighting for justice and never stop believing in the power of karma.